Yeah, so welcome everyone. You're welcome. Thank you all for joining. And this is going to be a very amazing space. So for the next few minutes, within the next 10, 15 minutes, basically what we'll be doing is introductions. We need to keep to time. So because we know why we're all here, and we're going to make sure you all achieve that. So sorry, pardon me. My name is Fela Ajikobi, and I'm a product manager. I'm also a community manager with LeadXR. I work with the team. So I'm just here to host. So I think together we're here to learn also. So along as the program continues, I'll be introducing you to other members of the team and the facilitators as well. But you guys will need to do me a favor for this to be very interactive and fun because we'll be spending 2 hours on this event, on this call, and it needs to be engaging. So I need you guys to let me make sure my screen is in line with what I'm saying. I know you guys are all muted, so but the only way I can know that we're all following and we're all engaged with this event and to make sure that we all get the best out of this event is to respond on the chat box. So please, I hope you guys are promising me that you'll be using the chat box properly. And for please, can you just drop an emoji on the chat box if you can hear me? Okay, yes, I can see Adams. Well, so I'm waiting for you guys. I can see yes, it's soft designs. It's soft designs. Please, what's your name? Okay, I can see that. Okay, yeah, thank you. I can see Steve. Yeah, thank you all for confirming. So within the next, okay, yeah, thank you, Bidemi. Within the next 15 minutes, brief introduction, and we'll be using the chat box. So once again, welcome to the SocialAR. And myself and the team and other facilitators you know along the way will be taking us through the journey into the SocialAR, one step at a time, one tool at a time, one knowledge, one information at a time. So basically today from the emails, for those of you that registered earlier on, we've been sending follow-up emails for you to get some tools you need. Oh wait, before I start to break that down, I need, because we'll be using the chat box, so I will need to jump to this so we're interacting while I go back to explain how the process the event is going to go through. So you all are welcome. For those guys just joining in, you're welcome. You're welcome. So please, guys, as I said, I need you guys to make a promise. So like to promise me that it's going to be as engaging as possible. And if you feel like one person has replied on the chat box, then there's no need for you to reply. Then I don't know. It might tone down the energy of this event. So irrespective of whoever has written something before in the box, I think you should just put your comments or opinions on the chat box also. I'll be reading it out because I can see everything to make sure that we're all following through. So please introduce yourself, your name, what you do, where you're joining in from. Because when we went through the questions you guys or expectations you guys had earlier while filling the form for this event, we realized that most of you guys actually want networking was one of the major expectations you had for this event. Nevertheless, it's virtual. You all are interested in augmented reality, virtual reality, audio extended reality. We want to meet new people in the field, experts that could help you develop. You can see Facebook doing stuff in the metaverse, Microsoft too, and a lot of companies. And then you need to, community is very important. You can join our community later on after this call. And for those of you that are part of the community, you're welcome. So please just help me by dropping your name, what you do, and where you're joining from in the chat box while I read it out and respond to everybody. Hi, Taufik. Just put your name, what you do, where you're joining it from on just one text, so I can just read it once. And then for the sake of networking, I'm meeting amazing people here, like yourself. You can drop your LinkedIn and Twitter. You can drop your LinkedIn and Twitter bio also, so you can all connect. So I can see Taufik. Welcome, Taufik, machine learning engineer. You're joining this call from Lagos, and that's great. I would advise you just copy your Twitter bio, the link to your Twitter bio and the link to your LinkedIn bio, because it makes it easier for people to connect to you that way, with just a click. So welcome to quick machine learning engineer. That's great. I can see Akinpelumi Benjamin Stevenson. You're a teacher and a graphic designer. You're welcome. Okay, calling in, checking in from Ibafu in Ogun State. So great. You're welcome. I can say Abdusabru Taiwo, graphic designer. Oh, great. Joining in from Lagos. You're welcome. I can see Adeolu Timothy, product manager. Oh, interesting. Joining in from Ilorin. You're welcome. I can see Ahmed Rufai, Python DevOps engineer. Great. Joining me from Bonny Island, Rivers State. Hey, PH60, shout out. You're welcome. So guys, please keep dropping in your information as I go through. I'll check back and read everybody's out and check in with you guys. You're welcome. So events to be, we need to keep to time. That's one. So and the more you send in your feedback to the chat box, I think we'll be in the chat box a lot because everyone is muted, just to make sure that we're all focused on the event. So I'll just run through the agenda and how the event is going to go to. So you have what you're expecting. So once again, welcome to the SocialAR. And first, we'll be running through the introduction with Excel. I tried to explain it to you earlier. Then into the SocialAR, the speakers will be taking it. I will introduce the speaker once it's time for him to speak. Then, we're not yet to call you guys. We're talking about the SocialAR here. And then we'll have something little to engage you guys after the first session, because this is a very is a full package. It's supposed to be a theoretical session and a practical session. It's just a brief reminder for those of you that registered earlier. I know you've gotten emails already on the platform we are going to use to be creating, the filters will be creating, or the tools we are going to be using. So some of you must have downloaded it. But for those of you that have not, the practical session is in the second session. The first session is the theoretical one. So there's still time for you to download the platform, download the tool we're using, log into it and get ready. So after that, then that's the workshop. Then so you can see it's going to be brief, 2 hours concisely. So just let me check in. People dropping in. But I can see parts from content writer and researcher. I can see Adams, effective creation tool lead at TikTok Africa. Wow, great. You're welcome. Joining me from Lagos. I can see Abdul Malik Jinad, Excel developer, joining me from Abuja. Thank you all very much. Okay, let's keep our updates. For those people that are just joining me, this is what we're all doing here. We'll be using this chat box properly. I think I've said this like 5 times now. So your name, what you do, where you're joining in from, and the link to your Twitter or LinkedIn bio so everyone can connect with you. And then, so before moving on, please, you guys can help us drop your expectations for this event. What do you expect to achieve within the next 2 hours of this event? We all have reasons why we are joining this event, either to learn a new tool, learn new skills. Also, for those of us that have skills already, we are looking for where we could implement or use our skills in this new industry. Like the fast moving industry, we're just growing. I'm also just joining in your Excel industry. So we all have reasons, and I want to make sure that your expectations are met. I want to make sure that your expectations are met. So you guys can just, as you're dropping in this information on the chat box, you can as well drop in the expectations for the event. Within the next 4 minutes, I'll be introducing the next speaker. I'll be introducing the very first speaker for the event. Who is going to hold the theoretical part of the event. Let me show you once again the flow of the event so that we're all on the same page. I can see Amin. You're welcome, Amin, digital marketer joining in from Lagos. You're welcome. So for those of you just joining in, you're welcome to the SocialAR event, to the Socialverse. We're just trying to catch up. As I said earlier, we'll be using just the chat box so yeah, so that we're all on track. So I'll need you guys to please introduce yourself, your name, what you do, where you're joining in from, things to LinkedIn or Twitter, and then expectations. So I'll be checking in on you guys. So by 12:15, the first speaker will be coming up. So sorry for the breaking transmission. So while everyone is checking in, I'll check in on that. But I'll need to introduce the first speaker for the first facilitator for the who is going to be taking us. Okay, so please let me try to confirm from the next speaker before introducing. You guys can keep on dropping your information on the chat box while I do that. So we can just go straight to the point and the major reason why we're here. Okay, for those joining in, you're welcome. Before I introduce the first speaker, I've been trying to catch up with everybody joining the call. I can see Joy joining. Okay. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me? I think Joy mentioned in the chat box that she can't hear me. Please, can someone just drop an emoji on the chat box to confirm if you can hear me? Okay, you can. Okay. Joy, I think you should check your network feedback. Thank you for the feedback. So the first facilitator for the event is Abdulmalik Junad, an extended reality and Unity developer using Unity, Gaming, Autodesk, Maya, and various other technologies, passionate about the Excel space and love challenges that comes with it. So, guys, I'll stop sharing my screen now for Abdulmalik to perform his magic while he takes us on the very first section. So, and enjoy the space.
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe my screen is what visible. Um, yeah, just like the um, as just like Fela said, my name is Malik Jina. I'm an external IT developer and Unity developer. So he has given a big background about me and what I do, and let's just get right into it. Yeah, so today we're talking about the social bus. But before we get right into social bus, let me talk about external reality in general. The external reality, short term, which is XR, is like an umbrella term used to define various realities out there, the virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So yeah, for now, I'm sure there will be other various realities that coming. Well, we have like major three realities that technology that people develop for. That's VR, AR, and MR. So virtual reality, which is an like a virtual space where you are transported into the space. Yeah, like you're going from the physical space into the virtual world. That's like basically what VR means. And if for AR on the other end, you're bringing in the virtual objects, virtual world right into the physical space. So you're not moving, you're not being teleported into anywhere. You're still in your virtual space. You have a sense of um a sense of understanding of where you are. You are not moving into the VR where you have to wear a big headset on your head and you're deceived by what you see. But for mixed reality, they kind of mix of both. For it's more of AR than VR though, because for mixed reality, what happens in mixed reality is that it's like an AR whereby you bring virtual objects to the physical space, but you have the option of interacting with them with your physical body, your hands and your, even through voice interactions and the likes. So that's like the difference between VR, AR, and ML. But today we'll be diving into VR and AR. We won't be talking so much about the ML part. So yeah, I've given a brief introduction about VR. A couple of headsets that are available out there are the Oculus headsets. We have the Quest 1 and Quest 2 by Facebook. Then also Meta now, right? Then we have the HTC Vive, which is developed by the HTC company. There are various other ones out there like Pico, Neo, and a couple of other ones there that people use. But these are like two major ones. I think Meta is leading the virtual reality space now by giving out their headsets for a very, very low price, although it has increased recently. I think it will be increased by tomorrow or 1st of August. Yeah, 1st of August, that's Monday. So yeah, the prices have gone up. I guess it's due to inflation and like. So that's this VR in general. Just in short, in one word, is like beyond reality because you are moved from a time where you are. Sometimes people get to lose the sense of space. They forget that they are in a virtual world and begin to act like as if they're in a physical world. People, you can see a couple of videos out there where people injure themselves while in VR, wearing their VR headset because they've lost sense of where they are. So they thought maybe they're seeing a virtual chair, but I think maybe it's a real chair and trying to sit down on it and they, they fall down on the floor. So yeah, that's how decision VR can be sometimes. Then social VR. Social VR, it's more like the way we have our WhatsApp, Instagram, and social media in general. But the major difference between social VR and what we have right now is that rather than you just staring at your screen, chatting with someone from the UK, from the US, from far away from where you are, and still communicating, it's you will be in a virtual space like can see on the left hand side here, these are three couple of friends, three friends together in a virtual space, seeing each other, well, not their real self, but they're like an avatar. So it's increased the sense of presence and you interact, you can have give an high five, shake hands, talk, like you don't have to type in on your phone all the time. You just it's bring a sense of presence to you and it's more immersive than type text on your phone or whatnot. So that's what social media is basically just a space like the social media we have now, but an immersive one where people just come around to hang together. They attend shows, they attend games, they play games together, and very other cool stuff you can do in the social media. So some of the top guys out there, top like top social VR experience that are there, like Outspace VR by Microsoft, and we have the Rec Room, we have the VR charts, and the Horizon World, which is Facebook or Meta, sorry, Meta social VR. space that people go in and attend shows and events and a couple of other stuff to be done there. So yeah, the augmented reality, giving a brief one about it before. So it's basically bringing in virtual objects into your physical space. So you use, whether using an headset or a mobile phone, which is easily accessible, you basically just project virtual objects into your physical space and interact with them through your phone. You won't be using your hands or anything like, unlike mixed reality where you have to use your hands and your physical body to interact with the objects. Then for social AR, I think this very, very common. I believe everyone here have a bit of understanding of social AR, where you use filters on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, because these are like the top guys right now. I think there are a couple of other filters too on TikTok, but I think the widely used ones are Snapchat, filter, and Facebook. So you use their filters to just have like it projects virtual objects onto your face. Someone, if someone sees a picture or a video using Snapchat, and person has no idea of what Snapchat is, the person will actually assume that those objects were really on your face, like in the real sense, and you just took a picture, because that's how realistic it is. People, it can be quite deceiving for someone that doesn't know about the technology, but that's what it is, because you're bringing in virtual objects to your physical space and taking viewing it through your phone, mobile phone, not see they're actually on your face. So that's basically how social AR is, and there are a couple of various social ARs we'll talk about. Yeah, the face filters, the randomizers, the word effects, portal, mini games, and client products, image trackers. So go deep into each of them one by one. Now let's start with face filters. So face filters now, it's basically what everybody knows. It's really engaging. Let's look at it from a business aspect. So on the right here, you see this is a face filter of Fanta created by them. It's engaging their customers, and it's a way to publish out what you have and put your brand out there. So anyone into the business side here can easily create an AR experience using face filters and technologies to create them, to put their business out there, and call people to use their like you're basically advertising is a way of advertising your brand. And it's really engaging, and you have to if depends on depending on how cool and massive it is, or on how cool it is, that will determine how much attraction you bring into your business. So you can see the very famous CUDA filter also too. That's one way of them putting up their business out there, putting up their model out there, for people to know, well, okay, yeah, we exist, and it's a technology that people are using a lot. So why not use the that same space to push out what you do, and let people know that you exist. So it's a form of advertisement that's really, really cool. I think Facebook, Twitter, sorry, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Both three of them can easily perform this feature. You can either either create for Facebook, Snapchat, or Instagram, and they're going to give you this face filter through their application. Now let's go to randomizers. So randomizers, this is, I think a lot of people who are used to this to know it, to have seen it somewhere. So it's looking at the one on the right, by the lady. So she's trying to order something from Starbucks, but she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to order. Maybe they have a variety of menu to choose from, and just using their filter, using their AR technology, their social AR technology that they developed, she could easily randomize what she wants to get today, and just gives her an option. So rather than she going to tell her, okay, yeah, I want to take this, I want to take that, I want to take this, then she doesn't know what to take. No, she just uses their technology, and it gives her an opportunity to randomize anything she wants to take and just go ahead and get it. So it's also a way of engaging with your customers too. For brands out there, trying to look for how to bring call customers to their services, and it's a very engaging way, and people like to do fun stuff. So whatever fun stuff you can create to bring customers to your brand, it's what people are always looking after. Let's just say in Nigerians we say how do I think packaging it's about packaging, how you package your brand, and this one which package, and look at the ASOS one, so you're trying to give people credit of kind of ASOS, although it's not as if it's perfect or it's real. It's just a way to engage your customers, not as if yeah, this kind of AR shopper that you are. So yeah, that's for randomizers. Let's look at word effects. So word effects, it's basically like it's as it recognizes a particular space. Word effect works on only one part, one on the space that is designed for. Yeah, look at the left hand video now. It's a video by Blipper. Blipper is a studio in UK, an augmented reality studio in UK. They create cool augmented reality stuff for their customers and clients. So this experience now was an experience they developed for an employee, a new employee trying to show her around the office space. So it's can only work in their office because it was developed for their office and designed for their office. So that's why it's called word filter, because word effects, I mean, because it only works in a particular space designed for. It's not for everywhere. So various locations around the world can develop cool stuff for that location just for you to use it. And if you look at there's this experience can be done even for let's say like malls and the likes, where you just want to show people around your mall and guide them to where stuffs are. Maybe you want to get where you can get stuff. Look at the you can see it's pointing to where coffees are and various other stuffs are. So it's a way to engage your customers. Let's say you have something like this in shop right here in Nigeria now. You just pick up your phone, get to the entrance, you scan the app, you scan the QR code, and you download the app, and it's basically just shows you around. Okay, when you enter the store, the shop, showing you that shop right, and just points you to directions of where it directs you to where a couple of goods and stuff you want me to buy. Like let's say this section is for drinks, section is for books, for chocolates and whatever. So it's a very engaging way and it's a good way to rather than you looking for a chaperone taking you around the store, you just use this technology and it's easy to use. So, she has a various option of things to choose. Where you have to give you did your first time comment. So that's what they create, and it's really, really cool and awesome. They don't have to go look for someone to be taking through the tour of the office or anything. Just this technology alone, it's very cool for her. Just take pictures of a phone and everything, every details you know about the office is there already. Then the other one by the right, yeah, it's just one developed for play the video really quickly. Yeah, it's just one developed for various locations around the world. Yeah, this Paris, London. So obviously this will only work in that location. This is London. It only work in London. It won't work in anywhere. You cannot put your phone and place your phone and point it to your own building at home and think, yeah, the filter will work in your building, or it works for that location alone. That's why it's called word filter, word effect, because it works only for a particular location, and it's really cool stuff. For anyone that wants to create stuff, like creatives out there, or maybe you are trying to create for a client or whatever. So that's one other type of AR, social AR. Then let's look at portals. So this I really like this example because it's I'm sure a lot of people that are into construction will be able to relate with this. This is portal. So look at the guy on the right now. It's outside, just in an empty space. Then it projects the architectural design, 3D design into that empty space, and automatically, while just walking through the door, is able to move around the 3D space. So it moves through a doorway, and all the digital digital assets are projected into that space there. It can easily move around. So look, if you I know one of the issues architectural designers have is where they have to design stuff, send to the client. The client says, okay, no, I want to move this to another place. They take it back again, design, use hours and hours of modeling again, and even trying to build up their model, and you see they'll send it back to the client again, same error. So this is just a very easy way, and it's very immersive. The client can easily understand what exactly is there, rather than them just looking through a picture on their screen, 3D image on the screen, or video walkthrough. It's engaging. He or she can easily walk through a proposed apartment that is meant to be built, and right in an open space, can even put it on the real land it's meant to be built, and just see how it comes out in 3D before it's even built. And any changes can be made to it by telling the developer on spot, and it's very very cool way. So that's for portals, and there are various portals out there, not just for architecture. And there are various portals you can use. You can even use it for your brand, for your let's say an office, just like the Blipper Studios one too. You can use it for an office before, let's say the new employee is working remotely, can easily send a portal of your office to the employee, and right from wherever they are, they have a glimpse of how their office actually looks like before they even get the opportunity to come in, when maybe she person is not working remotely again, or it's taking a look at COVID period. People were restricted to their homes and everything. So new employees could just use this. Them extra employers could just send this to their employees, new ones, and they'll have a glimpse of how their office space is like before they even resume work. So that's another cool stuff about social area. Then let's talk about mini games. So mini games now, it's really fun. I think there are a couple of other AR games on Snapchat. I played one basketball game too on Snapchat before, but it wasn't for a brand. Unlike this, this is a brand, let's say like Motina now, that we all know has this technology. I created this technology for their drink. This on their can, you just place your phone over their can and you begin to play games. Just this alone will allow me to want me to go and get more Martina drinks. It's just like the way Pepsi, Coke, and likes do this promo whereby you have to buy their bottle, and when you open up the cap, you see a code. You do this, you do that, you get one or two things. Just the same way too, but this is more fun and engaging. You play games right with their can. If the can, maybe for some reasons you lose the can, you want to go and buy on that drink again to play on that game. That's one fun way to engage with your customers. Very really really cool. Even with the dairy milk one, so it's actually tracking the chocolate bar. If you want to see when you move the chocolate bar, the game pauses, because it's without the bar it won't work. So people can, businesses can easily use this technology to just find one cool game, link it up with their products, and it will call people to buy their products. It's really, because it's really fun and engaging. Even those kids alone will be like, "Mom, I want this. Mom, I want this." Because they can play games through it, and it's really, really cool stuff. There are other various games out there. Some may not even relate to a business or whatever, but could be, there are various AR games too that play out there. It doesn't really need to be a business from business perspective, but this one cool way, because I know everybody can relate with it. When you have business people, and some people here have businesses that they run. I know this is one fun way to engage your customers. So like the next one is tie-on products. This tie-on products in particular is really booming nowadays. Some people might not know of it yet, but it's something that's been going in technology in this industry for a while now. So basically you just look at when you want to buy something on Jumia. I know Jumia have issues of people buying clothing accessories from them and returning it because it's not their size. You see the size of the seller on the page saying this is size whatever, size 4, size 42, let's say for shoes, and you buy it and you say, oh, this is not even close to size 42, it's small for me, or something like bigger, is a bigger size. So but with virtual try on, you can easily project whatever it is you want to buy online, project it onto your physical self, check how it fits for you, how it looks good on you, whether it looks good or not. Look at the, you can see right from the app, right from the social experience, he was able to project the hoodie on his body, and from there he went straight up and want to purchase the hoodie, because he has confirmed, okay, yeah, this looks cool on me and it's my perfect size. So it reduced the issues of fear, like maybe you are scared of buying something. Let's even assume it's a store that does not allow returns. You buy it, you know your size, and that's the end. That's a loss on your end. But with this technology, if stores incorporate it into their business, they can easily sell products without people having issues of sizes and whether it look good on them or not. Sometimes pictures are deceiving. Well, with 3D projection of the item you want to buy, be it chain, jewelries, shoes, clothing accessories, clothes itself. It's you can put them on any part of your body, and you have a glimpse of how exactly it's going to look like when you buy it, or when they eventually get delivered to you. So that's a very, very cool stuff. And It's one, I think it's the most common one now in the space that people are trying to get into, because it's needed. A lot of brand needs it, and it's just very very cool stuff that people want to get into. So this is Adidas, very common space, very common company. Adidas, we have New Balance, and this other one here is also jewelry. And you can see they're using Snapchat to, you can see the New Balance one is using Snapchat, even the jewelry one is using Snapchat. So they are all using this social app that we already used to. You don't have to go and download on that app. You just open up your social media, Snapchat, Facebook, or Instagram, and use this technology. So it's really, really cool without you leaving your comfort zone of going to and download any other thing or scanning QR code. It's very, very awesome space. Then look at image trackers. So these are other way to engage your customers, just create something fun out of what you produce and let people engage with it. This look at the energy drink. It's basically you putting it's like just a form of advertising. You advertise whatever it is that you have. You put just by superimposing 3D objects onto your products, through the mobile phone, or let's say a VR headset. But I think everybody, sorry, not VR headset, AR headset. I think everybody is used to mobile phone, like it's easy as well. So it's a technology that you can't say. I believe most phones now can use can like are AR enabled. I'm very sure. I think most phones are AR enabled. So you don't have to go get a new gadget because you want to use this. You open up your phone, use the whatever social media app that the company products is using, whether it's Snapchat, Facebook, or Instagram. Just open up your phone, click on the link that was sent, or you see that on their page. You know, superimpose just to place it over your whether can or book or any image. So it's basically tracking the image of the can and the image of the book. So that's what image tracker is doing. Like it scans that particular. It doesn't see the image. It won't project the 3D object or animated graphics on the object. So it's scanning the image of that object. Look at the juice one here also. So it's scanning, you can see it's scanning that fresh juice image. So once it can sense that, okay, yeah, this is the image that I need, it projects, just superimposes all the objects and graphics that it needs to put on it. So that's what image tracker does basically. It's another form of social area. I think that's the last we have type of social area. Okay, yeah. So this I'm just going to talk about in general benefits of social area and how you can utilize this technology. We have better audience engagement. So it's one of the best features of AR filter because it's really engaging experience, and it's like playing. Look at the one of playing games where it's just taking you won't even know when you spend hours and minutes pressing your phone just playing games with their products. You're engaging with your audience as a producer or as a business person. Yeah, engaging with your audience, giving them stuff to play with your product. They don't just drink your juice and throw the can away, or eat your chocolate and throw the line away. They are still using your product. And even if, let's say, if someone is out there bored somewhere and see your can, and they're like, oh, let me just even buy this drink. And once I've been done with drinking, you don't have to throw it away. You just start playing games right on your phone there. So it's a way to engage with your customers, and it gives an highly memorable experience. Because the research I saw that gives about, like, it says about 70% of AR filters gives a memory call than traditional advertising methods, because you view something online or on the TV advertisement and you playing a game about it. I believe everyone here will agree with me that when you play games, you have a better memory recall than watching something on video, or maybe scrolling through social media and seeing advertisements banner or something. Because you weren't performing those tasks, those games. You don't doing it yourself. You're not just watching it. You were actively engaging with the experience. So it gives you a memorable experience, a memorable experience, because you can always relate to it anywhere. You fully understand the product itself, and whenever you even see it, you want to get it more. So also it gives enhanced purchasing journey, because one of the benefits of AR filters is that this can allow customers to virtually sample products, like clothing and accessories that I mentioned earlier, even cosmetics too. You can superimpose a cosmetic product, look at it, how it's going to look like on you. Then and because it always allows customers to sample this product and to enhance the overall purchasing journey. You don't just go through Jumia or Konga app. It's you also try out the products right in your physical space there. So it enhance the overall purchasing journey. So let's look at user generated content. So because on social media now, people don't just follow other people. Like you don't just follow celebrities, follow friends, follow families. You also follow brands too, right? So following brands now, you by following the brand and using their social filters and content that are generated by them, it's brings it's an interactive AR experience. So users can always share this engaging experience, with friends, families, and people that have similar interests. So you give out the content as a business person. The people by engaging with your AR filters and AR filters, people still share it. They give it to their friend. Like, oh, try this out. Let's look at the Kuda one for example. Just see if you are seeing that for the first time on or what do you call it, on Snapchat. Yeah, you want to share with your friend that, oh wow, like I saw this really cool CUDA filter, and someone that doesn't even know anything about CUDA will like, oh, what is CUDA? From there you go ahead and go and search what CUDA is. Like, okay, what do they do? And if something that interests you, you just jump right into it and start start patronizing them. So that's for user generated content. It's very affordable because you don't have to go and buy any gadgets. You don't have to go and buy any. You don't have to download any app. You can use the app already existing, already known to you, which is Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok. It's affordable. You don't have to go, leave your comfort zone to get something else. You don't have to do that. And later on, I'm sure you have a good experience creating cool stuff right in the um on the call, because the other speaker will giving you how techniques on how to create stuff like that. So learn that with your phone, that mobile, that is AR enabled. You can easily put your brand out there without you purchasing anything or paying someone. It's something you can easily learn, and it's affordable compared to going out to movie studios, or sorry, movies, TV channels to go and say tell them, okay, I want to advertise my brand, or putting out banners out there where you have to print stuff and that kind of thing. It's just from the comfort of your house. You sit down there, create the experience you want for your brand, put it out there on social media, and people engage with it, and that one just calls people to your brand. So that's some of the benefits of social AR. Then the major tools used in creating this experience are the Lens Studio, which is used in creating Snapchat filters, and the Spark AR, owned by Meta, used to create their Instagram filters and Facebook filters. So those are like the major two ones. Later on, you'll be learning how to use Spark AR to create cool stuff. Then there's also Lens Studio by Snapchat. So they are both social AR tools. There are both tools in creating social ARs. So, but each of them is constrained to the social media app that it's being used for. Like we have the Snapchat for Lens and the Spark for Facebook. So yeah, that's it for me, and that's basically all. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to jump right in.
Thank you very much, Abdulmalik, for that awesome session. I believe it has been an awesome 30 minutes so far, 30 or 35 minutes. And please, chat section, please, you can drop in your questions, comments. I just want to say thank you to Abdulmalik. You might have some questions while you are going through the session. For those just coming in, you're welcome. And Abdulmalik, while you drop your questions in the chat section, Abdulmalik, there are some questions some of us have asked earlier before this event, and Abdulmalik will be addressing them. So, but we will consider the questions in the chat box as more important. Not let me say as more important, but as priority, since you guys are actively here. So between now and in the next 5 minutes, please just drop your question. Yeah, thank you for the feedback. Insightful, awesome session, Malik. Thank you. So please, questions Abdul Malik, thank you very much. If you can go on with this, with the questions that have been asked for the event.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. So somebody asks, what are the gadgets needed to get started? Are they affordable and can an average laptop do? So I think I've talked about this already. Yeah, it's affordable. Well, for AR, it's affordable. Yes, your phone is all you need and a laptop to create the experience. Now, an average laptop, when you say an average laptop, I don't exactly know what that would mean, depending on the specs. But what I would just say is whatever laptop you're using to create social AI or using the software Spark, whether Spark or Lens, it's always advisable to have a graphics card, whether NVIDIA or AMD Ryzen. So that's like the major criteria. Like I see, for me, if you check out there, like that's the major thing you need on your PC. It's not as if your PC is Intel based graphics card, it doesn't mean it will not work. It will, but it might have if you're doing something very very large and that needs a lot of using a lot of graphics might affect your production and might slow you down. So an average laptop, yeah, you don't have to break the bank to actually create this experience. If you have a good laptop with a graphics card, yeah, you're all good to go. And all you need is just a PC and your mobile phone. And that's all. Then opportunities in the XR industry. Yeah, there are various opportunities because the XR industry is very, very large. We have people developing for VR, for AR and MR, and each technology itself has different space to create, like to dive into. As a VR developer, you can be in the educational space where creating stuff for education. You can create stuff for medicals. You can create for architectural design and for AEC as architecture engineering and construction. You can create stuff for like cultural experience, like maybe creating a museum of you know cultural background, maybe like let's say someone creates this Edo artifacts that were stolen during the British time. We create a museum with the houses, um artifacts. That's a cultural space you can dive into. Like that the opportunity in XR is very, very well. Like it's an interesting space that anybody can come in, and just choose your niche and you're good to go. Yeah, even for AR, there's social AR and there's normal augmented reality. The normal augmented reality will not require you using social apps like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat to create those experiences because you have to build an app entirely yourself. It's not as if it's so complex in building it to get scared. So that's on that part. There's social AR, there's the normal AR we use to create other experiences. It's the opportunity is very, very wide, and various industries are using this technology. Like I mentioned earlier, the even the games industry uses, there are games for VR, AR, and MR. There are educational content being developed for AR, VR, and mixed reality, and construction space also too. They use this technology. A lot of industry out there. So whatever industry, I'm sure there's something you can use AR to relate with. Like AR relates with a lot of industries. Whatever industry, whatever background you have, you can look into Excel and find the way to use this technology to better your industry. So how can event improve social life? Sorry?
I am like, sorry to cut you short. Please let's
All right.
respond to the two questions in the chat section. Let me read the first question from Olasupo Kende. He's asking, how do you create elements and with which software do you create elements for import into the AR software?
Okay, all right. You say how do you create elements? Probably you're talking about the filters like I used. I want to believe. For creating, although you'll be taking this later on, but let me just give a brief knowledge about what I know about it. So, for creating social AI now, those filters you see are basically images, you know, except the ones that are three that look that are like 3D. Those ones you have to model out the 3D models from 3D engines like Maya, Autodesk Maya, or Blender. There are two major softwares used in the industry. So it's either you model those ones in those softwares, then bring them into a game engine to develop them, or you just use filters like we all use on Snapchat that they're basically images that are just superimposed on your head, but you don't know because you're not going to develop it. So that's the I think I've answered the question. That's where you bring in the model those stuffs. That's very simple, just images that you use doodles and likes.
It's trying to confirm that, for example, the flowing fashion could have filter.
Yeah.
Does that answer it too?
Oh yeah, exactly. So that one, those ones are just images that are just flowing around in your head. It's not as if that those are not even 3D models. Like most filters, like face filters, are images that are just superimposed on your physical self. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Abdul Malik. Because of time, we might not be able to address the other questions, but if there's still time towards the end of the event, after the workshop or the practical section, we'll address the rest. But please, let's address Ken's question on the chat box since it's present here, and that's more important or urgent. Ken is
yeah.
asking, what are the requirements needed to publish a filter on a social media platform?
Okay. Um, for I think each social media app has their own requirements. You know, just like Google Play has its own requirement for you to meet before you can publish your app there. So you will have to go ahead, look for when you decide on what platform you want to use, you have to go ahead and look for what exactly their requirement is for Facebook, for Instagram. I'm sure Facebook and Instagram have similar requirement because since they are under the same umbrella company Meta, so they'll probably have the same requirement. Then you have to look for Snapchat so too. So like whenever you decide on which app you want to use, then you can now go ahead and look for, okay, what do these guys require me to have in my filter before I can publish it out there. But it's not something so tough, like it's not the requirements are not so crazy. I'm very sure about that, but it's a seamless process developing from their software, like the Lens Studio for Snapchat. It's a seamless process developing from there and publishing it out there. So it's that's the way it is. Just cool. You don't have to go through a lot of channels or create something so crazy before you can publish out there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Abdul Malik.
Yeah.
I'll also for Kende and Ken. I hope he has answered your questions well. And for Joy, who asked this question now, your question is related to Spakia. The next speaker will be attending to that. I'll make sure she does that after our section. That will be the first question she'll be addressing. So thank you very much, Abdul Malik.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, awesome session. So guys, I hope you've learned one or two things and stuff to couple of points. So we'll be moving into the next section, which is supposed to be the workshop. But before then, I think our work cannot play the same mixed jam in mobile. So we just have a little icebreaker just to like to feel what we've learned from the Malik just now. So just to make this very easy, we're going to do this way. There's a poll I'm going to be sending now. Okay, I'm coming. Let me present my screen. Okay, great. Please confirm you can see my screen in the chat box. Okay, yes, you can. So this is how the flow. I'm going to come back to this for those that joined in later after the introduction is done. So icebreakers, yes. Just this is just to make what Abdul stuff was sink in properly. So briefly, this is it. Which is the most used Snapchat filter of all time? I know, yes, the next facilitator will be taking us on creating an Instagram filter. But I think most of us have used, yeah, we both use Instagram and Snapchat filters. I think I'll say I'm more partial because I use Snapchat more. And then I think most of these filters came from Snapchat, like the old filter craze. So for all this, we can see the baby face filter. For why I'm saying this, let me share this with you. So you see a pop-up and you just have to just pick one of the answers that you feel is the correct one as the most used or the trendiest Snapchat filter of all times. Okay, so this poll is going to be on for the next 10 minutes. So please try and just respond. It's just a button. Okay, I can see some of you coming in.
For those that do not see the poll, please look to the right of your screen. You should see a poll for you to be able to vote for which one. If you are using a mobile device, just check out the three icons at the right side of your screen. Shows a triangle, square, and circular icon. There you'll be able to see your poll to vote for which ones you want.
Okay, so for while we're doing that, you guys can take this is just like a very little 10 minutes break for you guys to chill, like a commercial break. So while you're I know this is straight to the point, it's just to select one answer. So while doing this, just to find out more something about us, something you could remember that is outside answering this poll. What animal best describes you and why? So I know some of us are, I don't know, how do I explain this? We all know that there's some traits in some animals that we always admire. We all have pets. I have a pet. For those of you, some of you might have pets at home. I don't know if the animal lover like myself. And to an extent, sometimes I stay home to myself with animals. Some of us are dog lovers, some of us are cat lovers, some of us love butterflies, some of us might have read about this animal. Yet, for those of us that believe in that. So just in the chat box, this is basically for the chat box. So I know some of you most of you might have answered the poll already, if Snapchat filter of all times. So please just in the chat box, I'll be reading your responses out within the next 5 minutes. Why before I introduce the next facilitator to who's going to host the workshop and the poll it will be, just to make sure that we're taking the time. Once again, thank you guys for showing up and your willingness to learn about the industry and SocialAR. So I'll be checking the chat box now. I'm waiting for you guys. Your spirit animal, which one and why? Wolf. Well, just let me tell you mine. Uh, Mine should be wolves because I like the way the alpha wolves or the way they work in families, and then they always watch out for themselves. And then at the same time, they play a lot. If you watch, I grew up watching documentaries on Nigel Ward, and I see them as serious as they can be, they also play. And that is how I've always like wolves to be like a spirit animal, like the animal that best describes me. But I'm not seeing responses in the chat box there yet. But since why that goes on, just let me check out the responses from the poll on the trendiest on the trendiest Snapchat filter of all time. I can see Joyce saying that there's no sheep or lamb. No, I can see Chizara said the octopus. Kent also said the octopus. Interesting. Now let me see it properly. Kent said the octopus, right? To spread my tentacles across different parts. I don't trust you, man. Taufik said, why octopus? Three octopus right now. Octopus Paul. For those of you that remember Octopus Paul from the World Cup posted in South Africa 2010, if you watch football. Well, that's cool. Well, okay, someone is asking for feedback on the poll. I'll get back to you. Bidemi Fatai said the lion. I see King of the Jungle. So that's cool. That's great. Thank you guys for engaging. Let me check out the poll. and see. Okay, I can see now. For those, I can see six. How many votes? Not everybody has voted here. Why? Please check. Okay, please check the. I don't know. I can't share my screen to really share that part because this is fixed. But you can check this triangular shape on the your Google Meet app. Let me see the name. Activities. Yeah, just click on the right side, the right button below. Okay, Bart is trying to present to show us. Okay, that's cool. Thank you, Bart. Okay, I can see more polls coming in. So that is showing us already how to get to vote on the poll. Under the activities button, yes, you click polls and then you see the poll, which of this is the most used. So okay, yeah, I think that's impressive. I can see more polls coming in. So I can see that. Oh, this is great. I'll be ending the poll very soon. In the next. Okay, let's end the poll now. Okay, for those of you still on that poll section, you will see the result of the poll yourself. And if you know you did not vote, you can also check it out. The answer is the flower crown. So I think on record, that has been like the most used natural data of all times. And getting that getting the parts of it. And funny enough, that used to be my favorite filter for a while. That was when it was still trending then. So thank you very much for participating. Okay, no, don't let me one minute for those of you that saw that. But please, can you stop presenting? Okay, let me try and share my screen, present again. Okay, I'm back up. So great, we're back. So thank you very much for painting so far. As for the card done, so we'll be inviting the next speaker, facilitator, who is Chizara. Chizara is a social AR. Let me go back to the first slide. So before I call on Chizara, for those of us, I need to catch up on everybody that joined in the call after, so that I know we're all on the same path because this is the last section for the event. I talked about LeadXR, the African Excel community, facilitated by LeadXR, running the servers. Then we talked about the flow of the event, and currently we are yeah. So after this, what is left is the workshop and then closing. As we're trying to keep to time. Thank you very much. So for those of you just joining in, at least I know a considerable number of people just joined in, maybe after this introduction section. You can drop your name, what you do, where you're joining in from, and the link to your LinkedIn profile or Twitter profile for networking. So I can introduce you or give you a shout out on the chat box. So you can do that while I call on the next speaker. So towards the end of the section, I'll give you a shout out so everyone can know and then you can network and meet new people. I've done that earlier, but I'll do that again towards the end of the call to give a final shout out to everybody. In case you joined and you've not done that, please do that. So the next phase, the next speaker is Chizara, and Chizara is the SocialAR developer using SparkAR Studio. On today. She loves creating effects that people enjoy and has gained over 1 million overall impressions on Instagram and Facebook. Impressive. Yeah. So, for my expertise and my knowledge, I'll be pouring some of our knowledge to us today to get some of them also and learn on a few things. So I'll be welcoming Chizara to present our spring and start our section within the next 3 minutes. So thank you all for joining and stay tuned and pay my attention. It's more of a follow-up to what Abdulmalik has taken us already on. So this is more practical, more of a workshop. So for those of us that got the email, and even if we did not get it, we spoke about downloading Stack AR, and then we talked about the filters that are going to be creating during this event and workshop. So while Chisara sets up our screen and starts the section, you can try to just make sure that for those of us that laptops are right beside us, try to make sure that your your laptop is ready, Stack AR is on, and then you're ready to create some magic. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello. Can everybody hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Chisara.
Okay, I'll start presenting my screen now. Entire screen. So I'm presenting my screen. Let's start. So today's workshop is on the introduction to Spark AR, and what I'll be doing is to show you how to create a basic filter on Spark AR and then publish for Instagram and Facebook. Let's do that now. So my name is Chidari Bakama. Like he has said, I'm an illustrator and a social AR creator. And then what I do is I create AR experiences for Instagram and Facebook. So if you would like to check out my experiences, you can do that at my Instagram handle. And okay, let's start. What is social augmented reality? I'll just do a basic part of the theory part, then I'll move straight into the workshop. Social augmented reality is augmented reality for social media. I believe that the first speaker has already explained what social AR is, what augmented reality is about. So this is like augmented reality for social media, for content creation, for brands, and then for shopping. So unfortunately, these events are tied to social media applications they're built for, and they can't be exported. You have to just experience them in the social AR, in the social media applications. So if you would like to create social AR experiences, you can create them on Lens Studios, Backyard Studio, and TikTok Effect House. Lens Studio is for Snapchat, and then Backyard Studio is for all Facebook companies, that's Instagram, Messenger, and Facebook, and then TikTok Effect House is for TikTok, like it says. So what is Stacker? Stacker is the software or the application that lets you create social AR experiences for Facebook apps. So I believe that everyone has already gotten Stacker installed and has logged in with their Facebook account. So what you're going to do now is like work with it. What kind of experiences can you create in Stacker? Well, contrary to like popular belief, it's not just face filters that you create on Spark. You create face tracking effect. I think these are the most popular kinds of augmented reality experiences on social media. You can create, you can give makeup, get people to wear stuff for their heads, paint stuff on people's faces, funny stuff, whatever. As long as like it's tracked to the face and then it augments or places a layer of digital objects on the face, it's a face tracking effect. So like the example I have here, I really hope that you can see my screen. So like in the example I have here, we have um we have a face tracking effect. Hand tracking effects are effects that you augment or you track digital objects to the movements of the user's hand. So as the user moves his or her hands around or resizes, you can something will happen, something will be moving with the person's hand basically. So you can create effects like that, and you can create effects like that for like watches, for rings, for like in the experience these fire rings that we just moving around as they opened and moved his hands. Then tracking effects are basically wall area effects that you can, instead of tracking to the person's face or hands or body, this one you can place them in your real world. Like you can take a 3D object and then place them in your world, and then they would interact with your environment just in the same way. So you need a clean surface for that for most of them. And that means clean surface like the floor or a table, any type of object that you can. If you can place a cup on it and it stand well, you can place a 3D object on it in the augmented reality space. Target tracking effects. Okay, I think these are like the easiest kinds of effects if you know what you're doing. Target tracking effects are effects that are started or are triggered when when the camera recognizes the image that is used for. So you impute an image, and then when the user oh my god, when the user scans the image, they'll be able to start the effect or start the experience. Like I did this for the Liverpool logo. Like if you scan the Liverpool logo with this Instagram filter, you'll be able to see that the players come out and then you get the Liverpool and then that kind of stuff. So that's what they do with side tracking effects. It's really fun. Yeah. Body tracking effects are experiences they track like body parts. So you can track different experiences to the head and hands and hips and like just the knees. You have very a lot of freedom on what part of the body that you want to track. So you can track the entire body. I think you can use this mostly for if you're trying virtual trying for dresses or for clothes. You can track them to the user's body and then they would move with the person and how the person moves their body. So I think that's all. Um, I'll be going to SparkAR demo. I think this is where you open your SparkAR application. Let me see if there are any questions. Okay. If you have any questions at this point in the meeting, I'd like to like answer them now before we go into this backyard demo.
So people can't unmute. They can send their question in the chat.
In the chat box. Well, I guess there are no questions, so we're going to SparkAR demo and start waiting on SparkAR. So let's start. Sorry, loading. So getting started with SparkAR Studio, I believe that the PDF of this beginner slide, so you already downloaded the app and you log in your Facebook account. So we can start with interface, like an overview of the interface. Okay, upload it now so that we know what's ready. When I say something in SparkAR, we to understand. I top left corner right here, in white we have this file. It's just like a box where you keep all your trackers, all your whatever kind of effect, the 3D objects and their anything you're creating that is supposed to be inside the effects.
Chizara, sorry to
Hi.
break in. I think your network keeps breaking a little, not so obvious for a little. And it just mentioned it in the chat box also. So I think you might want to help us maybe take it slowly a little so that it can cover up for the time lag in the network. So people that are actually using SparkAR right now, which can follow. So thank you.
Okay. So like I was saying, I'll be talking about the interface of SparkAR and we're talking on the scene panel. The scene panel is a box, basically a part of the SparkAR interface that shows you what trackers you're using, where all the objects you're using in your effects are, like the lighting, the audio, the speakers, the microphone, everything will be in the scene panel and then you can get them and work with them there. So I hope that everybody heard that. Then below the scene panel, we have the assets panel. The assets panel is basically just like a big folder for all your assets, to put it like that. So if you have pictures, if you have music, audio, if you have any 3D object that you would like to import into the effect SparkAR Studio, you can just easily add them to the assets panel and then you'll be able to use them and take from them as you wish. So then the biggest part of the interface is the viewport. The viewport is like, I don't think that is the land that you're working on. So everything you use will be in the viewport. Everything you're working on will be in the viewport and you can move them there. You can also see the camera in the viewport. So this is like this small phone. Yeah, sorry. This small phone is the camera, and then you can see the light. Everything will be in the viewport, and you can move them or work with them as you will. Then in the viewport, we also have the simulator. The simulator is a preview for you to know what to see what you're working on. So in simulator, you get like a if you've coded before, you get a phone or something that shows you what it will look like if someone was using it. So you can see that there's a user in the phone thingy, the rectangle, and then if you create like a sorry, if you create a face tracking effect, it will show on the user's face. It will show in the phone, and then you see how it moves in the different phone devices and phone sizes and all. So the last part of the interface is the inspector panel that's here in green. The inspector panel just gives you a lot more options for customization, for movement, for intensity and stuff. So if you click on any object in like in the same panel, in the viewport or in the access panel, you get a list of options, a list of configurations that you can edit to make things better or to just make it more to your taste, basically. So that's it about the interface. And let's see what we'll be creating today. So our project today is a simple face tracking effect. That's like the most basic thing you can create on SocialAR. And then this is what we'll be creating exactly. This flower thing that's wrapped around our face, and then the rainbow eyeshadow stuff. And then so we're adding a face paint. This is the face paint. This is just basically what we're going to paint on the user's face. And then we'll add a rectangle at the bottom for like LeadXR. I've already created this effect, so if you would like to try it out, let me see. Let's escape. If you'd like to try it out, let me send it to the chat box on preview. Okay, I see a question. Is there a platform for creating cross-platform filters? For now, I don't think there's anything like that. Well, if it's easy kind of to create the same filters for SocialAR and for Instagram and then Snapchat because they have like the same interface. But to create one filter, I don't think so. Well, I haven't seen anyone like that you can use to create a cross-platform thing that go across all social media. So there's that. So next thing we do now is if everyone already has SocialAR open, I would like to see like if permission say yes if you have SocialAR open on your computer. Okay, I see messages from Joy and Amin, and I believe that so if you haven't yet, well, maybe you haven't, you should open them now. So open it now. So when you open SocialAR Studio, you'll be met with this interface. So you'd see a lot of templates that you could use. But today we're not starting with any template. We're going to start from scratch. So, okay, you're just downloading. I hope you can download faster. It's lot of not more time. So click on if you open another and say just click on create new at the left and then click on blank projects. And then wait for it to open. So it might take a while. What I have to do before opening before starting anything is to save my project. So just Control S. It will let you save the project. So I'll call it LeadXR. LeadXR Social. But you can name it anything. But I like to save my project first. So it won't just be untitled anymore. So as you can see, we have this SocialAR interface like I talked about. We have the scene panel, we have the assets panel, we have the viewports here in the middle, and then we have the simulator. I like to make my simulator much bigger than this. So we have the simulator here, and then we have the access panel. You can see the access panel gives a lot of customization for anything you're working with. So I think we should start. What's wrong with this thing? I am coming. Let me restart my SocialAR. So SocialAR is open. So click on blank project, like I said. Okay, creating it at the end. Oh, let me close this. At the left-hand side, when you open SocialAR, at the left-hand side, this is create new, and then go to blank project. I hope you can do that, Joy. So you go to blank project and they create new. But it create a new experience basically. Okay, so like I said, Control S and then LeadXR. Okay, and save. The first thing to do is to, if you've already gotten the email from the community, then you already have the resources that we'll use for this project. So the first thing to do is to import them into SocialAR, and then you import them into the assets panel. In the assets panel, you see from computer and then from asset library. The asset library is basically a big bank of pictures and 3D objects and sounds and patches that you can use in your filters. But since you've already gotten what you want to use, let's import from computer if you've already downloaded them. So look at them here, you import. Just select both of them and then open. They will import into your SocialAR Studio. So let me check if we've done that. Well, if we've done that, I'd like to continue. Then the next thing to do, I hope I'm not so noisy. The next thing to do is to, since we are creating a face tracking effect, we are going to add a face tracker. All AR effects have to work with trackers. So if you're creating like a screen tracking effect, a body tracking effect, or a hand tracking effect, you have to use trackers for them. So using a face tracker, we have to add the face tracker into the scene panel. The scene panel is at the top left here. Scene panel is at the top left, and then click on plus at the bottom. At the bottom, and then you see a face tracker here. Click on the face tracker and insert. So if you've added the face tracker, let me use this. If you've added the face tracker, and you'll see that there is this XYZ gizmo thing that is moving with the user space. Let me get a person that moves a lot. So here you can see the face tracker is moving. That means it has recognized the face. If it doesn't like move, or if you can't see that arrow thingy, that means you're having, there's no face in your scene for the face tracker to recognize. So the next step is to add a face mesh. A face mesh is what will become what would paste on the user's faces and basically just paint on the user's face. So with that said, select the face tracker 0. Let it be selected. So select, then right click, and then click add object. Hi.
Sorry to cut him again. Please, I'm in his with his laptop, so I think it's following through with you, and then it's making a complaint about the network. So I think you might want to check in with him to know exactly where he stopped.
So I mean, if you'd tell me where you stopped, and I will start from there in the chat box. Oh, adding assets.
I
So,
mentioned, he said adding assets. Okay.
so if you go to SocialAR, let me start from the beginning. And then, oh, what? Just click on the plus button at the bottom and then click on imports. When you click on import, you'll be able to add an from your computer, and then you'll be able to add the assets that you downloaded. You look for them, and then you add them to wherever you downloaded them. So if you've done that, you can continue. So I really hope you've added your assets. I mean, hope you've added your assets. So if you've already done that, I'll, I'd like to continue. So once you've added your assets, you add a face tracker because you're creating a face tracking effect. Because you're creating a face tracking effect, um, you go to the scene panel and then Joy, I thought that you asked the question. Please excuse me. So if you've added your assets, just go to the SparkAR Studio, and then in the assets panel, like this, in the scene panel, this top left, I would want you to add. I want you to add a face tracker. So the face tracker, you click on it here, and then you see it in the link. When you click on the plus button, you see it in it, and then click on face tracker and then add it. The face tracker is the face tracker will recognize the face and then add it to the scene. So when the face tracker has recognized the face tracker will show three arrows that will move with any of the movements of the user in the simulator. So when you see that the face tracker is moving around, then that's it, we've rated for it. So once you've created for the face tracker, the next thing to do is to add a face mesh. The face mesh is what we're going to just paste on the user's face. So with the face tracker selected, I really hope everybody's following me. With the face tracker selected, I'll right click and then add objects. The object I'm going to add is the face mesh. This is the face mesh. It's under 3D objects in the list. It's just named face mesh. So we'll click on face mesh. So when you add the face mesh, you'll see this around. You see this black and white checker thing that is pasted on the person's. I don't know why this thing is thinking on the person's face. So when that shows that a face mesh has been added. So I would like to talk about like what meshes, materials, and textures are. So when there is no material added to any object or to any mesh, the face mesh would be the object will just be in black and white. So I think I'll explain it like face mesh is the skeleton of any object, basically. And then when you on top of the skeleton, you have muscles. That's what materials are. Materials are the muscles. They give the mesh or the object body. So you add the muscle slash material, and then when you add that, it gives it body. Then on top of it again, it's just like layers. Then on top of it again, you add a texture. Texture is the skin. Like just as you have a skeleton, there are muscles on top of the skeleton, and then there's skin on top of the skeleton. Muscles are this texture is the skin of any material you're using. So with that, with the face mesh, right click, and if you want to rename your face mesh, flower face, or anything you want basically. But I do this one. If you are creating like a more if you're creating a very complex effect, it will be very good for you to name all the objects you're using so that you can find them. So we've created the face mesh. That's the flower face mesh. And I hope everybody has done that. Let me check that block. No, I can't see any problems. So with the face mesh selected that we've named flower piece, we would add a material. So the material is what to give you body. So when you click on the face mesh in the inspector panel, that's like at the far right, the last panel, you see materials in the list. Click on materials, and then you automatically have a material added. Then you see that the checkerboard black and white thing is no longer there. You have something a little bit thicker. So that's basically like the muscle of whatever object you're using. So the material has been created, and materials will be in the assets panel too at the bottom. So in the assets panel, we have the materials. I hope everybody has prepared the material, and I'll wait a few seconds. So click on the material you created, material 0. It always starts from 0. And then rename. Always rename because I can't start looking for number. So just rename flower mat. So when you rename like that, click on it, and then you see options again in the inspector panel. We're going to work a lot with the inspector panel because we're going to use a lot of things there, and we have to go customize whatever we're using. So in the shader type of the flower material, the material we just created, we're going to create a face paint material. We can't use the shader, this current material type that we're using, because it's too thick and then it responds to light a lot. So if you use the shader type, we're going to change the shader type to flat, and so to face paint. So face paint is thinner, and then face paint takes a lot of the background of the face and a lot of like the contours of the face. So you can see that the face paint is in black and white basically, and then you can clearly see the person's face. If you use something else like a flat material, you can't see what the person's face is, and then it will affect whatever you're using in the filter. So we're going to use a face paint shader type. So wait a few seconds for everybody to make the material that they use. Go to shader type in the spectrum panel and then make it a face paint shader type. Then, okay, I'll let you see options. No. So if you made it a face paint shader type, the next thing to do, like I said, materials are muscles. So the next thing to do is to add skin to your muscles because you can't just work with, well, it's not AOT. You can't just work with muscles everywhere. You have to have skin for it to look presentable. So the skin, like I said, are the textures, meshes, materials, textures, skeleton, muscles, skin. So we have to add the texture. And then texture will be this flower face that we used. So to do that, you see, with the flower material selected, it's important. In the inspector panel, you see texture here. And then in this small box, you can click the drop down there. There's a small arrowhead that drops down. And then you add flower face. So that will click on flower face. And you can see that. Let's change this. So you can see that in the simulator, whoever you have in the simulator is having this flower face filter, the face paint on her face or his face. Then, well, that's like basically most of it. So we have other options in the inspector according to whatever you feel is right for you. You can toggle the opacity, and then you can make it transparent or let it have full opacity. And then you can increase the background influence. I do that so that it will, you see, if you reduce it to 0, you can't, I think the best place to see this is check her eyelids where the rainbow thing is. So if you check her eyelids, you can see that it's just like sitting on it without actually melding to the person's face. So if you increase the background influence, it looks like it's literally painted on the user's face directly. So then you can increase or reduce the brightness, and then anything that works for you basically. Whatever you want to do is what you should do here. So now we've created the face paint part of the effect. And then I'll check if anybody has problems with that. So, like I said, create a face mesh, add a material. In the material selected, add the flower face texture. And then you can use any options you want and then customize that you want any way you want to. Then the next thing to do is to add the rectangle that was at the bottom. If you go back to the slide, this is what you're creating. You're going to add this rectangle thing here that has the LeadXR logo. So just to show you how to add to the images into a SparkAR filter. I'll just start with rectangle. Then to add the rectangle, we go back to the same panel. I told you that anything you want to work with, any type of object you want to work with, you have to use them in the same panel. So you click on the same panel, go to plus, and then I search for rectangle basically. Rectangle, or you can scroll down and look for it, but I'll just search for rectangle and then insert. The rectangle automatically appears at the top left corner of the screen, but you can move that. So if you've already created a rectangle, I'll suggest you rename, but okay, rename. And then we'll call it, let's call it LeadXR. Then we've already named the rectangle. So you can position this rectangle anywhere, but I want it to be at the bottom of the screen and then in the middle. So if I would like to see if anybody has problems now. No problems, very good. So with the rectangle selected, you can see like these boxes around it, and it shows you how you can resize, move, anything you want to do. So I think you just put it in a rectangle shape if you want to. And then there's this, when you click on the rectangle itself, there's a hand option. So you can move it to any part of the screen. You can move it to only be part of the screen, or you can just put it like that. Then let's see in the center. Like I said, this rectangle just has the mesh, and then there's no material. It's just like it's a skeleton. So to give this rectangle, make it a full person, basically, we have to add muscles, and then we have to add skin. So we have to add material and then a texture. So what kind of material are we going to add? Let's first add the material. So with the rectangle selected, we go to the inspector panel. The inspector panel is on the right. So we go to the inspector panel and then we add a material like we did in the first time, but then we add a material. So click on plus. It will show you whether you want to use the former material you used, want to use the former material, that's the flower material, or you want to start with a new material. We start with a new material and say create new material. So you see now that it's kind of grayish. Some parts are more white than gray. Then what you do is we click on the material and then let's rename the material so that we'll be able to differentiate it. LeadXR math. I call math because math is easier. Then with LeadXR material selected, we're going to choose the kind of shader type we want for the materials. And then is for 2D objects, the best kind of material to use are flat materials. So LeadXR material selected, we'll go to the inspector panel and change this shader type from standard to flat. You see that when you change it to flat, it's completely white. It doesn't have any reflection to light. So anything you do is just going to be a flat to the image. Then we're going to add skin to the material we use or to the object we use. So the next thing to go to texture. It's basically the same thing. Go to texture and then click on LeadXR. That's for the picture. You see, you can still edit this if you're in the viewport. You can drag it up as you want or just, well, anything that feels right to you, it's your choice. So now we've created the filter. This is the most important part of the filter. So I'll be going back to if anyone has questions, I'll be going back to the meeting and I'd like to read the questions and ask before I talk about how to publish the filter. So I'll be waiting for questions.
So you do have a question on the question aspects, on the question aspect of the charts. Please press on the triangle, rectangle, square, circular icon below, right hand side.
So different kind of shader types. There's the flat, there's the standard, let's go back. There's the let's go to material. there is the physically based and the face print. So the materials, the point of the material is the shader type is to show how they respond to light. So if a shader, if you use the flat 2D materials does not respond to light, the standard material, let me add a circle into this thing. So if I go to the asset library and then import a circle, like a 3D object, circle, circle, circle. Ah, well, I don't think it's opening as fast as I want. Let's just add, let's just add another rectangle instead. So if you add a material, a new material to it, you can see that if we play with the lights, I've not gotten to lighting, but if we play with the lights in the oh, not directional light. What kind of light should we use? Color. So if we change the color of the light to blue, so as you can see, the rectangle responds to the light that was used. So it's now blue when you use a standard material. But if you use a flat material, it will not respond to any lights in the scene. It will just be a flat to the image, and then it just behaves as itself. But if you use a standard material, it will react to light. Physically based material will also react to light, but not as much as you expect. So it also react to the kind of lighting that you have in the scene in your own real life. So to add and whatever environmental texture you have, I don't think we can do environment textures yet. So it also reacts to the kind of texture of the environment or the lighting in the environment that you have. And then a face paint is basically for face paint filters, or else it doesn't really make sense for other kind of sense. The shader asset is like that's very complex. It's to create more, how do I explain this? Shader assets make your creations look more realistic, basically. So you have what you use mostly are the flat standard, physically based, and then face paints, shader types. Let me delete this. Delete. So I'll like to change the lights back to white. So if that's the question, I've answered it. If
Well, you have one more on the chats as
chat box.
So please go to the chat box.
Bringing in your 3D models from Maya. What are the best practices? If you would like to import a 3D object into SocialAR, you have to make sure that the 3D object is as lightweight as possible because you have a limit of about, for the whole filter, it has to be about 4 MB for most things. So you have to make sure that your textures are as compressed as possible. Without losing quality, and then your images have like their triangle count. So if you have like a million triangle count, so you have something that's too complex, you'll bring it to SocialAR obviously, but you'll not be able to publish them. So if you like to use your 3D models from Maya, if you have your 3D models from Maya, I suggest importing them into Blender, and then there's a Blender SocialAR toolkit that can help you compress your 3D objects to the right size for SocialAR. So there's a SocialAR toolkit for Blender that helps you compress your 3D objects. If you're creating cell material, how do I design it? Okay, so okay. Well, if you go to SocialAR website and go to Facepaint, there is a template for you to use. So that template is let's you draw on top. It will look like I'm trying to open what it will look like. So this one, I can't remember. Well, so if I use Illustrator to describe what to draw, by myself. I am an illustrator, so I can create my face access by myself. So let's wait for illustrator to open. So there's a template. So you create on another layer the kind of effects you want to use, and then there is more like a picture. So there are eyes, there are noses, there are eyes, there's nose, there's a mouth. So put whatever you can put whatever to the objects you want on it, and then you'd be able to, when you export it, will work in the right space for that. So while my illustrator is opening, oh, network. So resources on where to get the images. I created my images myself, but if you can download, uh, I'll explain. I'll explain if Illustrator opens. So I could send the image by myself. Missing fonts. So this is what the template looks like. So when you import this kind of templates, the template, I can send it to the community, but I can send the link so it's easy. So you put the template on a layer. If you know how to use like Canva or anything, basically Canva, Illustrator, Photoshop, Figma, you put the template on one layer. Then on the other layers, you can start placing whatever images you have. So let's say we have something like this. Okay. So, and then, so if you have a picture that you'd like to paste on a face, you can bring it into your into the graphics software you're using, and then resize it to fit. If you want this, like, if you want to make this a tattoo under the cheek, so with you can resize the image on top of the template, and then you'll be able to, when you export, you hide, and then when you place this as a transparent PNG on top of the face that you're creating in the face paint filter, you'll be able to, it will work normally. So what you need is just the template and any other 2D object you like to place on the user's face. So when I was creating this, I added the flowers like one by one, and I arranged it all around the person's face, and then added the eyeshadow thing. So what you need is the template for creating the face paint. Okay. Flower material. Okay, I think I've answered the questions, and we can answer the questions, and then we can go to publishing our filter. So to publish your filter, it takes like it's as easy as it can be, really. What you need to do is your browser will have to be on laptop basically, and then you need to record a demo video because Facebook will have to approve whatever um Facebook will have to approve whatever filter you have, and then you have to create a video of what that filter looks like on yourself. So at the bottom here, I don't if you can follow me as I create this. I've already created my demo video, so I don't know if you can follow and put that, but you can always do that later. It's like the simplest part. So beside the assets panel, that's at the bottom left, there are options here. So there's this rectangle that has an arrow, shows you how to test on device. So when you click it, it shows you to test on device. So you can click on, first you have to add an experience type. An experience type is what kind of experience are you building? Sharing experiences, let's click add experience. Experience and add experience. Sharing experiences are for just like taking pictures, making videos, making reels, posting on your stories and stuff. So you can really take a picture with a sharing experience. Video call experiences are for video calls. So if a person is on a video call with another person on Messenger or on Instagram, you'll be able to use your filter, and then it creates more conversation and stuff. Ads are for when you create something for a brand, like a variable, it will be an ads experience. So the person will be able to test whatever you created on SocialAR, on Instagram or Facebook. So today we're creating a sharing experience. So click on insert sharing experience. So everybody know that, and then click done. Hi, I can see question. Can we share this without deploying to social app? Can you export? No, you cannot export as a video or image. You need to send it to your phone. If you don't want to send it to like social media, when huh, I don't see any way around it except if you have the Spark AR player that lets you test whatever you're creating on your phone without being like, but you still need a Facebook account for that. So you can test it without it being on your Facebook account or your Instagram account. So Babatunde, I don't think you can't share without displaying to a social app. Except when people like to test on your own device. Okay, so now that we've added the sharing experience, we can send it to, if you have the Spark AR player downloaded, you can just connect your phone via USB and then it will show on the app. You can just send to Instagram or send to Facebook, and then you get a notification on there on your phone that you can test the filter by yourself on your phone. So when you've tested that filter, when you get a notification, open the filter and then make a short video. Your video should not be longer than 15 seconds. So everything you want to show, just like move your head or so to like 3 different angles. And then your video should not be longer than 15 seconds. So when you've done that, it will show if well you see it on your phone. I don't know how to show my phone here, but when it's sent, it will upload to if you're using Instagram or it upload to Instagram. Oh God, or Facebook, and
Hi,
then
Tara.
hi.
Sorry to cut you in again. Well, we're towards the end of the event already. It's almost 2 p.m. So I think
Oh,
I want to invite just help us round up so we can.
okay, okay, that's fine. So when you've gotten when you've recorded the demo video, then click on under test on device. There's a publish button, and then click on upload or export. I think it's easier to export. Then name it LeadXR like you named it before, and then save. Or you could just upload, click on the upload button if you want, and then it will upload to Spark AR and start uploading to Spark AR. Huh, well, I don't think we can wait for it to upload. So open and then click on Spark AR, open your Spark AR hub. Oh, God. Spark AR. Oh, Facebook.com. If you log into Spark AR with Facebook.com, you can upload a filter. Spark AR with Facebook.com. You can upload whatever effect you have. Well, it's taking some time to open.
Hi, Tara.
Hi, it's taking some time to open, so I don't know what's wrong. I think my network problems are showing themselves again.
No problem. But it looks like it's covered a lot already. And then for those that actually follow, it's stuck here. So what's left is just to upload and then so that
Huh?
we don't because I'm sure that there's a number of people on the call that are not with their laptops. And then for those that are with their laptops, they can follow up with the rest of the class on the WhatsApp community platform. Zara is also part of the community, so you can find that there. So you can find out there. Okay, I can see Abdul Malik sending links to filters that he has created. So, Chisora, thank you very much. Okay, I understand this is a Nigerian factor here, network issues. Thank you, everyone who has stayed on the call this far. Thank you, Chisora, for this awesome session. Thanks to the LeadXR team and the African Excel community team. Thanks to the facilitators. Thanks to Abdul Malik. Thanks to, let me try and check all the people on the call. Thanks to Amin, thanks to Ahmed Rufai, thanks to Bart, thanks to Solar. So guys, any last advice for everyone so far so that we can round up? Chisora, are you with me? Okay, I think while Chisora gets her network back, just let me try and present my screen. So guys, please, before you drop off, let's not forget to connect. I'll try and share my slides. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay. So I'm trying to go back to, yes, networking. So everyone, thank you all for joining. And then the WhatsApp community is there. I know a considerable number of us are in the WhatsApp community, but you can check your mail and check and join the community for follow-up with Chisara on everything so far. So I guess for those of us who have joined the call without this particular software, maybe because we're in a situation whereby we can't use our laptops, we'll be sending the recording of this event to your emails before the weekend runs out. So because it's not just a one-off event, learning is a process. It's every day we learn. So, and I understand that the terms and the technical terms used during this event for those of us that are new to the industry might be quite hard to get now. But when you get the recorded event, the recorded version of this event, it's easier to follow up and try to make researches about some of those things that have been mentioned, then improve your skills. So it's always better to follow up on this than ask questions, because when it's time for the next event, maybe coming up next month or next 2 months, I'm not very sure yet. But it's just to make sure that learning is a continuous process, and then most of these technologies, the problem is that they sound so complex. And then attending events like this, but now you can also that Chizara is just like any one of us, and then this is and then it's just to demystify the complexities around creating content like this around the XR industry. It's not. It sounds like rocket science, but I think one step at a time we get there. So let's not forget to connect. And before, let me share my listing on the chat box also. So you can follow me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and then basically what LeadXR does is to facilitate the adoption of Excel across Africa. We have to do that very fast because the industry is growing, and the solution the industry is going to be producing is what leads innovation in the nearest future. And LeadXR is trying to break that barrier or try to build a bridge between Africa and that technology. So the very person who founded the company is on the call with us, and that is Papai Babatunde. So I'll be calling in on stage just to give like a rounding up advice or speech or something to tell us why it closes the event. So thank you very much. My name is Fela Jacobi. See you guys. We'll catch up on the community chat, maybe WhatsApp, one, Twitter, one, LinkedIn. You can check us out. So I'll be inviting Nawatunde Fatai for closing remarks.
Hi everyone. I hope you learned a thing or two. The whole purpose of this is to like give an intro to like SocialAR, right? And I did not think for a minute that this particular event would be able to, I don't know, take you through the whole tool and for you to become an expert, right? The whole point of this is first to at least open you to the possibility of creating such amazing solutions, right? And second, at least to increase your knowledge on it. So I hope you guys gained what is necessary, right? So the community was built definitely for this. We have many experts in the community. So if during trying to experiment with what Chizara has gone through or what Majid has gone through, please, by all means, send questions into the community. They would willingly answer. That is all I have for you. In terms of LeadXR, you guys should stick with the community. We have a lot of things coming up. I think the next SocialAR events we have is for TikTok, right? Not creating TikTok, what do they call it, materials as a creator, but actually building the face emojis and the AR aspect of TikTok. So we have that coming in the next 2 months. As long as you stick with the community, you would have access to that. So guys, thank you very much for showing up. Till the next and the next. Have an awesome day. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Joy. Thank you for engaging. Bye, Ken. Thank you for engaging. Bye, Taufik. Bye, Busola. Bye, Gideon. Bye, Bat. Bye, Abdulmalik. Bye, Abdimi Adioye. Bye, Adesonia. Bye, Amin. Bye.